Hello students, welcome to the first class of Parallel Computing. In this lecture, I am going to start the first chapter of the book Parallel Computing Theory and Practice by Michael J. Quinn. It is the introductory chapter in which we will study idea of parallel computing, why we need parallel computing, its historical background and some terms and definitions related to parallel computing. If we look at the history of parallel computing, then we find that the idea of parallel computing evolved due to the demand for high speed computers. Cost, size, and speed were the fundamental issues related to the early generations computer designing. The speed of the computer means how many instructions computer can process per unit time, and it is provided by the current technology available, but technological advancement has its own limit. So, in order to fulfill the demand of high speed computing, the researchers and scientists thought of replicating some of the processing components of the computer, and this idea led to the designing of parallel computers. So, parallel computer is a computer in which some of the processing components have been replicated in order to gain speed. The first topic of the chapter focuses why we need parallel computing, and the answer is due to the computational demands of contemporary science. If we look at the way classical science works, then we find that classical science is based on observation, theory, and physical experimentation. Observation of a phenomena leads to a hypothesis. The scientist develops a theory to explain the phenomena and designs an experiment to test that theory. If physical experiments support the hypothesis, then hypothesis become the theory. If it is not supported, then either the hypothesis need to be rectified or it has to be rejected. In contrast, modern science is characterized by observation, theory, experimentation, and numerical simulation. Numerical simulation simulates the natural phenomena by using mathematical formula. Numerical simulation is an increasingly important tool for scientists who often cannot use physical experiments to test their theories because sometimes physical experiments are too expensive, they are time consuming, sometimes they are unethical or not even possible to perform. So the modern scientists compares the behavior of a numerical simulation which implements the theory to observation of real world phenomena. But many important scientific problems are so complex that solving them by numerical simulation requires extraordinarily powerful computers. These complex problems, often called grand challenges for science, they are almost from all branches of science. So, in order to fulfill the demand of extraordinarily high speed computers, researchers had to start working on the idea of parallel computing. The next section of the chapter focuses on the advent of practical parallel processing. And we observed that scientists had started working on the idea of parallel computing in early 60s. But it took more than 20 years for parallel computers to move from the lab to the market. During 60s and 70s, lots of technological and architectural development took place, and we get some very famous parallel computers such as Solomon, ELIAC 4, C.MMP, CM Star, and Cosmic Cube. But all these computers were very bulky, very costly, and they are not commercially available. They are only in the lab for research purposes. In early 80s, after the success of microprocessors, some of the researchers start using microprocessors for designing of high speed computers or supercomputers. And we got commercial parallel computers only in mid 80s. And all these parallel computers had used microprocessors. In 80s, had become very popular and it was growing very fast. A study by Hensey and Patterson had observed the performance growth rate of microprocessors, mini computers, mainframes, and supercomputers. And it has been observed that the performance growth rate for mini computers, mainframes, and traditional supercomputer has been just under 20% per year, while the performance growth rate for microprocessors had averaged 35% a year. Why has the performance of microprocessors increased faster than the performance of other kind of processor? When this question has been asked and been analyzed, then it has been observed that the performance of a single processors can be improved through either by the technological advancement or by the architectural advancement. Technological advancement means reducing the time needed per instruction cycle, and it is limited by the technological growth and it has its limit. While the architectural advancement efficiently utilizes the available resources and increase the amount of work performed per instruction cycle. In it is the various architectural advancement that has already been achieved are bit parallel memory, bit parallel arithmetic, cache memory, channels, interleaved memory, instructions look ahead, instruction pipelining, multiple functional units, pipeline functional units, and data pipelining. All these architectural advancements had already been incorporated in the designing of supercomputers of that time. In contrast, microprocessors have been able to achieve more impressive performance gain because they have had so far to go. Early microprocessors did not incorporate all the architectural advances already present in the supercomputers and their clock speed were much slower. So there are lots of scope for microprocessor to grow. The convergence in relative performance between microcomputers and traditional supercomputers had led to the development of commercially viable parallel computers consisting of tens, hundreds, or even thousands of microprocessors. At peak efficiency, microprocessor based parallel computers by Intel's Mass and Thinking Machines exceed the speed of traditional single processor supercomputers such as Cray and NEC SX. Some of the organizations that delivered commercial parallel computers during year 1984 to 93 are listed in this table. The first parallel computer by India in year 1991 by the CDAC is also listed here. The name of the Indian parallel computer was Param and it is still active. Some of these organizations are still making computers and some are out of the business. Although parallel computing technology has provided massive parallelisms and a very efficient and high speed computers, but in order to utilize that power, it requires the development of reasonable architecture, operating systems, programming languages, and algorithms. This book is about the designing of efficient algorithms for real parallel computers. The next topic I will cover in my next lecture. Thank you very much.